What is a life hack that seems fake, but is a true lifesaver? Okay, I don't know if you'll see this or have the wherewithal to respond, but it's 6:30 a.m. where I am and I've been up since around 4 with some constipation, mostly just browsing around Reddit. I'm not even subbed here, I've been browsing so long I hopped over to Popular to change things up. I have work today, I just got promoted and we're right smack dab in the middle of a 2-week crunch. I can't even remember if I've ever been constipated in my entire life, so maybe it's stress. But I've been in a mild panic for the last few hours because I'm in a lot of discomfort and haven't gotten a lot of sleep, and I simply don't have time for this to be a symptom of a more serious issue. I've been getting up, moving around, trying different stretches and positions to loosen things up, but all I've been feeling is tension and a lack of relief. Rocking back and forth on the toilet for just the last 5 to 10 minutes has already totally relieved the discomfort and tension I've been feeling. I haven't jostled anything out yet, but I hope I've at least got the operation moving again. I'm comfortable enough to where I can probably go get a couple more hours of sleep and try again before I go to work. Thank you, AskReddit. Edit, hey guys. Thanks for the helpful advice. My bowels are free, the show will go on. This works for cats too, especially when they have you in the death hug. When cats kill their prey, they sometimes use their front limbs to pull the prey towards their belly, and their back feet/claws to scratch and disembowel it. It's instinctual, but cats can be taught not to do it to humans. If you've ever seen someone try to give a cat a belly rub, only to be attacked, this instinct is part of it, as well as a defense against attackers. If a cat isn't trained to not attack your arm, or they are trained but end up locked on, the worst thing to do is pull your arm away like you'd naturally try to do. Prey animals will try to run, so that pulling motion on the cat's limbs mimic prey and the cat will pull you tighter to its stomach and bite harder. Instead, do this. Push your arm in quickly towards the cat's jaws, like a quick pulse, sort of, not a slow steady pressure. This will both keep it from chomping down on you and startle it. Use your other hand to push the cat's head back. Bonus points if you can cover their eyes. Suddenly your arm is no longer prey but predator, and the goal is now escape instead of kill. Make as high-pitched yelp as you can. Like the most embarrassingly loud squeak possible. This is especially important if you're training a cat or kitten, because that loud yelp is not only startling but indicates this playtime is too rough, now, and you need to stop. Kittens naturally do this squeak when their play with siblings gets too rough, and the cat learns what level of force is okay for it. After you're free, ignore the cat completely. Don't look at it, don't talk to it, nothing. Act as if it isn't there at all, the ultimate silent treatment. This reinforces that they were too rough and playtime is over. Ignore it for at least 5 minutes. If your car is overheating, turn your heat on full blast. When you turn the heat on in a car, it pulls heat from the engine into the cab, thus cooling the engine. I was taught this in driver's ed. 23 years ago. When in high school my buddy's car would run really hot, I told him to turn the heat on. He wouldn't. I had to convince him it was true by saying I would pay for resulting damage if the temp didn't go down. It was the winter time, and that heat was so dang hot we had to roll the windows down. But we watched his engine temp drop. I don't believe it's especially uncommon, but if no one ever told you, it would seem counterintuitive. Edit, you go to sleep and tell your wife, hey, I made a comment and it has like 400 likes. Then you wake up and your 6Y lifetime karma has doubled. I do hope it helps someone, somewhere, sometime that didn't already know about it. A few things as a response to some common comments. This doesn't work on electric cars. Depending on your mechanical issue, it may not work at all. It has worked for a lot of people with evidence in this chain. Those junior to me learned this from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Those around my generation learned this from Hank Hill. If I can have a millionth of the influence of Hank Hill, I'll take it. Also, King of the Hill reboot news. If you want to know how it works better than me saying it pulls heat off the engine, ask your mechanic or look for those that explained it better in this thread. This is not a permanent fix, this is to get you somewhere to safely address this issue. If you can't afford repairs and do this long term, you are gambling. Know when to hold M, know when to fold M. This is caused for a number of reasons, like the shape of the item being washed or its material. This generally happens on plastics which have a higher surface tension than ceramics, so it tends to hold the water more. Edit. As someone mentioned below, it's also the heat capacity of ceramics versus plastics that help the drying. Ceramics hold more heat, which aids in the drying process. There's things you can add like rinse aid that will help with this issue, but not 100%. Also know that dishwashers are not designed for the random mishmash of items we put in them and are not tested with anything plastic. It's all ceramics and metal, cutlery, so they're designed more to meet standards than they are to be realistic use cases, although I'm sure some manufacturers do tests using realistic loads. Also, clean out the filter on the bottom of the tub. I've shown so many people that it exists and that freaks me out a little. Edit. Because everyone keeps asking about this mysterious filter, here's a video explaining where it is, how to remove it, and how to clean it. Now go do it, you filthy animals. First, I've heard of this towel trick but super keen to try it. Source: used to design dishwasher racking. To add to this, Dawn soap is great for cleaning windows and glass also, and should be used instead of ammonia products. Ammonia will leave a residue on the glass. Many of you have probably seen this before but didn't realize what it was. Normally, when you have glass and you wash it, it will get an even cover of water, and wipe away, leaving the glass spotless. But ammonia, like Windex, will create these hydrophobic bubbles on the glass after getting it wet, and when it dries, it leaves all those tiny white spots that you can't ever seem to wash off. Houses with years of Windex use on the windows are incredibly hard to fully clean and get those spots off the windows. I worked as a window washer, and learned this from my boss. Funny thing is, regular plain original Dawn is leaps and bounds better than any other similar dish soap. I'm usually all on board with getting the store brand of just about everything. And, for most everything, generic works. Generic cookies might not be exactly Oreos, but they're still good cookies. But nothing does what Dawn does. Other soaps clean dishes, sure. But only Dawn has that grease stops being greasy property. And you don't realize just how much gunk on your stuff is grease-based until you hit it with Dawn. Old sticky film on the inside of 1970s electronics? Sticker residue? It works. There is a certain magic combination of WD-40 and Dawn that I love. To get the glue and sticker residue off of stuff, like glass jars. Hit it with WD-40 to break up the adhesive, which turns into a greasy paste. Then Dawn breaks the paste up and it just washes off. Super late, but I feel like this one trick has been spread so much that I'd like to present an alternative. If you forget someone's name and you've been introduced already, have spent some time talking and perhaps you've even connected a bit. Don't say, "What's your name?" No, your last name. Do say, "I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Can you tell me again?" Nobody asks you what your name is, expecting you to say your last name, unless you're in organized sports or in jail. And if you are sincere, a quick apology and asking them again is totally okay. We all forget names sometimes. Some of us, lighting fast and as consistent as a Tuesday morning. But it's okay to ask again. Learn to distance yourself from your thoughts. Realize that, at any given moment, you can become aware of what you're thinking about. Just ask yourself internally, what am I thinking about right now? By doing so, you see that you are not your thoughts, you are aware of your thoughts. Therefore, you are not your mind, the thing doing the thinking, you are the thing that is aware of your mind, i.e. you are aware of your thinking, you aren't defined by your thinking. This can really help with things like body image issues, insecurities, anxiety. It's the essence of meditation. The expression goes, meditation, it's not what you think. And it's true. It's not about what you think, it's being aware that you're thinking. A lot of people say I think, but they don't say I beat my heart. They say my heart beats. The beating of the heart happens whether or not we want it to. Same thing with thinking. It's going on, whether or not we want it to. Become aware of that. You aren't defined by your thoughts. Smiley face. When you are trying to learn something new, try mnemonics. They are amazing and have changed my life. The idea is to make up a silly story or imagery to go along with the things you are trying to remember. I am learning Japanese. Some of my word stories are straightforward and easy to make up, and others are a bit more abstract. Your brain has a tendency to remember stories more easily than random information. Instead of reading it over and over, you are giving your brain some context to draw from. It takes maybe 5 read-throughs instead of 20 or more for me to fully retain info. Now that I know this method, here are some examples. Nurse, when I am sick I can go see the nurse. Hair, I picture a wild unruly child with crazy matted hair running around. I yell Kami over here so I can brush your hair. Kami is hair. Usually my skates were really tight, but sometimes the laces would undo in the middle of a jump. Make up characters and scenarios. It is a bit more work up front, but I have to spend less time studying now and actually have memory retention to show for it. Internet companies are always trying to get you to pay more. Call a competitor, and get a better rate. Then call your company and ask if they can do better. If they can't, go to the competitor and sign up. Do this every year or so, and make the companies fight for your business. I moved to a new area where I thought Comcast was the only provider. They quoted $55/month, when looking at the paperwork, it should have been $45/month. They say, it's higher because you aren't getting a landline. I ask how much it would be with a landline, and they say $60/month. So, they were charging me a penalty for not getting a landline, but with the landline it was only slightly more. I reluctantly signed up to have them install in a few days. In the meantime, we found out AT&T was available in the area. We call them up, and they offer us $30/month for the same service. I called to cancel Comcast, and they called back the next day asking why I canceled the installation. I told them we found it for $30/month, and won't need their service. They immediately said they could match the $30. We said no, $25 or no deal. They said they couldn't go that low, so we hung up. Why would I go back to the company trying to scam me, when all they are doing is matching the rate? You can also just tell your provider you are thinking of changing services because you are paying too much, and see if they will offer you something better. This is my camping setup, although I don't have a truck. 4 Rubbermaid roughneck totes, all in different colors. One for cooking, one for non-cooler food, one for tools, mallet, hatchet, lantern, etc., and one for general stuff, the camping junk drawer. When I'm packing for camping I just throw the boxes in the trunk. When I get back the boxes go on the shelf and everything is already stored, food box aside, obviously. You never forget the can opener when you have a dedicated camping cooking box, and the general box is a lifesaver. Over the years that box has grown to have multiple knives, multiple sources of light, multiple ways to start a fire, playing cards, hand warmers, baby wipes, rope, twine, extra stakes, paper, pens, everything you might want but also might forget if you're just packing for a trip. It's not well organized, but it doesn't have to be. It gets thrown in the car for every camp, and I know if something happens I can probably improvise with what's in the box. If you have a contract with a cable TV provider, they almost definitely have a website to whom you can complain. Every time you have even a moment of inconvenience that is attributable to them, go onto the website and complain. Be polite. Be civil. But act as though this is really an issue. For example, the on-demand options screw up, or your internet goes down for 15 minutes. Get online and explain, I work from home, and I need a stable connection. I'm self-employed, and this is harming my business. If you can't guarantee me a constant connection, I'm going to have to explore other options. For the on-demand issue, my time is at a premium. If I can't access entertainment options when they're convenient to me, I don't need cable. Again, be polite, but very firm that this is an issue that's frustrating you. The key here is that you're dealing with the corporate office, and not your local branch. They all can override your local bill. Inevitably, they will give you $10 to $30 off, because you're dealing with someone whose whole job is to retain customers. They also are in a better mood than the people at your local office, because they're paid far better, and have the freedom to give the discounts willy-nilly, whereas the local staff don't have that option. They're being monitored and or penalized for too many discounts, as a way to fuck them out of raises and or promotions due to poor performance. I seriously got a discount at least once per month without ever having to actually speak to anyone. From Comcast, no less, who are rather notorious for being shitty. Yes, you have to spend a little bit of time doing it, but 20 to 40 minutes for $20 is a pretty decent use of your time. Insurance hack I saw online once. I don't know if this works or not, but if you are desperate it should be worth a shot. So your doctor ordered a medical test or treatment and your insurance company denied it. That is a typical cost-saving method. Here's what you do. Call the insurance company and tell them you want to speak with the HIPAA compliance/privacy officer. By federal law, they have to have one. 2. Then ask them for the names and well as the credentials of every person accessing your record to make that decision of denial. 3. They will almost always reverse the decision very shortly rather than admit that the committee is made of low-paid high school graduates, looking at criteria words, making the medical decision to deny your care. Even in the rare case it is made by medical personnel, it is unlikely that it is made by a board-certified doctor in that specialty, and they do not want you to know this. 4. Any refusal should be reported to the U.S. Office of Civil Rights, ocr.gov. And a HIPAA violation. Bonus points for if you wear makeup, it will remove every last bit of it from your face. No more washing and thinking it's all gone only to wake up with raccoon eyes and smudges on your pillowcase because there was sneaky mascara residue hiding in your lush eyelash jungle. Baby oil gets all of it. Lash glue, waterproof mascara, brow pencil, longwear liquid lip, super close tight eyeliner under your lash line, motor oil, Halloween makeup cream sticks, buffalo wing sauce, all of it. It is super gentle and won't irritate your eyes while you remove mascara and tight liner, doesn't require any vigorous scrubbing and is very effective with just gentle massage, is good moisturizer for your eyelashes and eyebrow hairs and any facial hair you're maintaining. I noticed early on in this routine that I was having fewer lashes fall out and my natural lashes were looking more even, and applying mascara was easier, possibly just because they were genuinely clean, but they and my eyebrows seem to be healthier and less sparse. Also you can get it in nice scents like lavender and cocoa butter if you don't prefer the smell of infant. Extra pro tip for those like me who like to wear black eyeliner and mascara: pick up a multipack of black cotton washcloths to use for this routine. I tried getting white ones I could bleach, and even bleach could not defeat my black liquid liner stains. Now I just grab a fresh, clean black cloth from the pile every night. Black washcloths have entirely eliminated the staining problem, to the point where I also got a black bath towels, black bath mats, a black bathrobe, and black cotton everything for my bathroom. No more worrying about stains from hair color, makeup, shaving cuts/menstrual blood, or anything. And the few times I've dripped bleach cleaner or hair bleach on my black bath mat, I've been able to remedy with a quick wash and dry and simple dab from a black Sharpie on any remaining bleach dots. Good as new, and everything matches and looks nice and clean and classy in the bathroom, even though I personally am actually a human mess of various staining goops at all times. I have to credit the skincare addiction subreddit for this one, but I tell everyone about it. If your skin is oily, dry, or uneven, as in oily in places and dry in others, wash your face at night with baby oil and wipe it off with a warm washcloth instead of using cleanser and water. It seems counterintuitive, but over time it can even out your skin by moisturizing dry areas, and it will normalize oily patches by adding oil. Eventually the skin will recognize there is sufficient oil there and stop overproducing its own. It probably won't help with things like hormonal acne or skin changes, but if the issue is topical, it will help, and it's non-comedogenic, which means it won't block up your pores and cause a breakout. If you can't stand any oil residue on your face, when you're done you can swipe with a green, alcohol-free, Stridex pad, and then rinse with cool water and moisturize with a gentle face lotion before bed. It took me 2.5 measly weeks of using cheap-ass baby oil to even out my oily/flaky skin after years of wasting cash on useless but expensive skincare products. I did have a small breakout the first week as my skin adjusted to not being subjected to harsh scrubbing and products that stripped away all its natural oils, but I stuck with it and it was worth every minute. I now use Cetaphil and a green Stridex pad in the morning, rinsed with cool water and then moisturize, and baby oil at night followed by more moisturizer. I will never ever go back. Nothing has ever helped my face more.